All right, so we're pretty much at the end of the day, and I think that there was some suggestion that we take a break, but I think actually we're close enough to the end that you'd probably appreciate if we wrap things up and close this out. I do want to make an announcement before I do that there is going to be a reception. It will be in the same place where lunch was served, and you had the opportunity to eat. The actual start time of the reception was a suggested 5 p.m. Now I don't think it's going to actually start then, but I wanted to extend the invitation to those who are here. If you'd like to stick around afterwards, there will be a reception for anyone who wants to do that. Our panelists certainly, and speakers and others. So please, if you have the time, you're more than welcome, and this formal invitation is now extended. I want to offer thanks to a variety of people who do need to be highlighted, and thanks given for today's event. Beginning with Cincinnati Museum Center. This is a wonderful facility. Thank you. And this is such a wonderful facility, and for those of us who have grown up in the greater Cincinnati area, it's truly among the iconic structures in our community. You think of Cincinnati, you think of a few monuments, and this is one of them. And there aren't too many, but this is one of them, and the interior is great, the programming here is great. Doug McDonald and his team do such a wonderful, wonderful job. Stacy Dennison, who was very actively involved in administering to all of our needs today. But thanks to the Cincinnati Museum Center. Second, and these are not in any order, certainly, but second, I want to highlight our partners in this, in putting on the summit, who did the truly yeoman's effort in pulling everything together, in meeting every need, and publishing the materials, working out all the logistics, you name it. That is the two firms of Roetzel and Andrus, and Abraham and Roetzel. Bob Carey, who's right here in front. Bob, stand up, take a bow. This gentleman worked tremendously, and his staff. And Lou Adkins, I don't know if Lou is still in the room. There's Lou. Lou, please, as well. They've been a great partner on so many fronts on behalf of Hamilton County, and the work in pulling this summit together was extraordinary. So thank you both, and to your respective firms. I also want to thank our panelists, who I think everyone would agree presented just a wealth of information today on a very important topic for our region, and in particular, thank Jay Williams and Mark Polston and Richard Van Buskert, who showed up at short order to fill in for the ill Karen Headland. And I highlight that again because Richard really put everything he was planning to do to a halt to be here on behalf of the Federal Rail Administration, and their desire to be a partner with us in moving forward, as Mary said, with optimism, and to take advantage of the opportunity that exists, but their willingness to partner with us, along with the Federal Transportation Administration, DOT, and the administration, under the leadership of the President, as represented today by Jay Williams. We have tremendous partners in Washington who want to work with us and want to make this happen, notwithstanding the limitations. And of course, we've got to work with Congress with respect to those funding issues as well. But we have great federal partners who highlighted the fact that there are other sources of money. So where do we go from here? What are our next steps? If we want to build a fully integrated, multimodal transportation system of the future that will efficiently and affordably and reliably move people and goods through our region, and create all sorts of new opportunities for commerce and new economic development and investment and job creation in our region, going to support the ability of people to get to where the jobs are and to take advantage of what those opportunities may be, if we want to build out an integrated multimodal regional transportation system, where do we go? Today is obviously not the end of anything. This was an initial step in bringing together a lot of the local leadership and reaching out to the general public and asking all of you to be a part of the conversation and now to be a part of the solution in where we go from here and how we accomplish this if this is what we want to get done. So we've begun the dialogue, but it's got to be much more than dialogue. It obviously has to be, there has to be action. Today's events were all recorded, and they're going to be up out there in the ether of the internet and available in any one of a variety of electronic mediums to access. We want to do that so that you can have access to everything, including all the PowerPoint presentations. They'll also all be available for anyone to download and have access to. But we're going to reach out beyond the participants in today's event, but to the broader public in our greater Cincinnati region and invite them to watch and to investigate areas of interest and to review the same materials and to be a part of the dialogue and respond to the questions that not only we are going to ask, but that some of you asked today, and questions that others will ask in the future. So the questions that were asked today are also going to be a part of that record and the answer to them. If there were questions that we were not able to get to, those will also be answered. But we're going to put some additional questions out to the broader general public to ask relative to regional rail in our region, and hopefully we're going to get answers back from a broad survey of the general public, similar to what Richard Dial presented earlier today that we have done for the Eastern Quarter. So we'll have that record of public input into all of this. Action steps. Well, the days of old where a transportation project was funded when a local elected official who represented our interests in Washington or Columbus got off the plane or stepped out of their car with a big styrofoam check saying, for the local transit project, here are X number of $1 million, and we're off to the races to get it done. Those days are over. I think we all know that those days are over. It's a complicated environment. It requires an awful lot of collaboration and putting things together. That's why we spent so much of the day today to talk about and had a whole panel devoted to the issue of creative financing and other financing techniques and availability of funds and the application process that is involved in that. We're going to put together a matrix of all of those opportunities, all of those funding sources, the timelines, when applications are due, so that we can develop an action plan where we are pursuing all of the federal funding, all of the state funding that is available for regional multimodal transportation projects in our region, and certainly, as was the focus of today's summit, funding for the integration of rail with our other multimodal transportation in the region. So identifying what all those opportunities are, having one resource, one place, one list where all of those opportunities, as were discussed today, where anyone can go to and where we as a region can go to make sure we don't miss out on an opportunity for funding, because in this new day and age, we've got to cobble together resources from every possible source that we can. Second, consider this a regional request for interest in being a part of our transportation system, a regional RFI. Because in this environment of public-private partnerships, we need private enterprise to be a part of the solution. We need to reach out to the private development community to come forward, to step forward, to be a part of developing what we need to get done to invest in our regional transportation system. Because I believe, and I suspect a lot of you believe, that that investment is going to pay great dividends in the future. Great dividends in the form of making sure that we live in a livable community, in a vibrant, economically vital community where jobs are being created, where revenues are being generated, where we have a place where people want to be, where people want to do business, where they want to live, where they want to raise families, where they want to enjoy all of the opportunities that life has to offer. So consider today a regional RFI. We're putting out that request for interest to the private community to get involved, to step forward, to be a part of the solution. Third, you heard a couple of areas where there are pieces of legislation that will make a difference. New legislation in the area of passenger fare charges, RISs, the Regional Infrastructure Improvement Zones, that's been developed by OKI. We're going to ask for your support in getting new legislation adopted because, as I think everyone knows, our elected leaders in Washington do listen, they do react to public involvement, they do want to know what the pulse of a community is. And if you believe that that legislation is going to be beneficial and helpful to us accomplishing the goal of developing a regional multimodal transportation system, then we need to ask for your help to get actively involved in reaching out to our elected leaders in Washington to adopt pieces of legislation like that actually do not cost money. The RIS legislation, even though it involves a change to the tax code, it involves other elements where the federal treasury is held harmless with respect to the benefits that are meted out to local businesses that will invest in this. So these are the kinds of legislative changes that should attract bipartisan support and that don't cost money, don't require Congress to come up with new appropriations, but they mean an awful lot to us in terms of generating revenues from new sources that will then be available to invest in the kind of regional multimodal transportation infrastructure that we need. And then last, of course, and this goes without saying, stay involved, be a part of this, write, go to meetings, attend public events, show our region, show the elected leadership in the region and the opinion makers and shapers that a seamlessly functional regional multimodal transportation system is something that you want for the 200 local jurisdictions that make up the 8 counties and the 3 states that we lovingly refer to as the tri-state, but that we also call our home. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for being here. Your attendance, your attention has been wonderful. Thank you for being a part not only of the dialogue, but for your commitment to being a part of the solution. Have a great day. Todd.